Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and that's right, of course, continuing on reviewing the Marvel films, and of course, the MCU films. Now, we've come to the second Avengers film, Age of Ultron. Yes, I have good memories of this. Like, I remember seeing it a couple of times in theaters, and I quite enjoyed this, and I don't know, is it mutual for this film? Like, it's got mixed feelings, like, people like this and people don't, and I guess, like, probably it's not the best in the line of Avengers films, I want to say. I don't know, but I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. But yeah, so, of course, this taking place, especially, like, because after what had been going on with the members of the Avengers, and especially after Hydra took over S.H.I.E.L.D., the Avengers stopping Hydra in Russia, I want to say. German, you've seen the film, and new additions to the MCU, like new members of the Avengers, who at first were kind of bad guys, but of course they're good now, and who appeared in one of the end credit scenes of Captain America's Winter Soldier, and that of course being Wanda and Pietro. Elizabeth Olsen plays Wanda, and Pietro is played by Aaron Taylor. And actually, because kind of a funny thing is, before Avengers: Age of Ultron, they were like the main characters, main stars of the 2014 Godzilla film, and they played a couple. Now in this, they're playing brother and sister. What a coincidence. But they are really good in this, and especially for this being Elizabeth Olsen's debut in the Avengers, well, and the MCU, of course, is Wanda, aka Scarlet Witch. And also, I'm trying to remember, because apparently Anthony, was he? I'm trying to remember if he was. Yeah, he was. I'm pretty sure. It's been a little while since I've seen this, so I remember just a hair about this film. Because Sam Wilson and James Rhodey, played by Don Cheadle, they're in this, and some cool sequences that I can think of, like where because at one point Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, he got injured at one point, and when they come back to the Avengers headquarters, it went from the Stark to a building of Stark, but now to Avengers headquarters in New York. They're having a party and such. Stan Lee making a hilarious cameo and saying his catchphrase, Excelsior. And this like the aftermath of the party, and they're trying to lift Thor's hammer. Like, it's funny with Tony and Rhodey using their Iron Man equipment, the hands to lift it up. And Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, he tries to lift up, and he barely kind of moves it a little bit, just a little. And yeah, a hint of, could it happen soon, And Thor's reaction to seeing that, he just kind of moved it just a little bit, stiffed it, or you know what I'm trying to say. And also, the new villain, the main antagonist of this film, Ultron, voiced by James Spader, and he was in one of the John Hughes films. Was it Pretty in Pink? I think so, yeah, Pretty in Pink. So James Spader as Ultron, he was fantastic as Ultron, and, because, at one point during the film, sometimes, Ultron would upgrade and have a new body, and of course, Pinocchio being kind of in this film, and, having a part in this, because of No Strings on Me, and we hear a bit of the song from Pinocchio in the film. Even at one point, Ultron, kind of injures Jarvis, kind of kills him. But that's when later on, somewhat, Jarvis is revived, even when, and also, Andy Serkis, he makes an appearance as Claw, and he was good in this, and for him having a big part in Black Panther, which eventually, I will review that. Scarlet Witch does, because Ultron invades, the place where Claw is. He rips off one of his arms, literally. Scarlet Witch, Wanda uses her powers to do something to Natasha, Thor, and Steve. They're having like dreams. Like Steve is back in the 1940s. Thor is at his home Asgard. Idris Elba making a cameo as Heimdall, and apparently Tom Hiddleston was supposed to be in there, as he was going to appear as Loki in that sequence, in Thor's dream, but I guess he was there, but he was just cut out, pretty much. I do remember when he was announced to be in the film, but again, he got cut out of the final film. It was no big deal, worked out okay without Loki. And yeah, Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell made a cameo as well in Steve Rogers' dream, and with Natasha, because having visions of, I guess, her class and her teacher, and which would be very important, like say with the Black Widow film, which of course I will review soon, very soon. Also, some of the other people that were in this, Kobe Smudlers, who plays Maria Hill, she's in this, of course. Claudia Kim, who is Dr. Helen Chow, and she had been in the MCU before, I just vaguely remember. And Wanda uses her powers to make Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, go crazy and attack the city, and this is where we get the debut of Hulkbuster. Tony Stark trying to calm down Hulk, and yeah, it's amazing. And some funny stuff going on, like, he's punching him and go to sleep, and at one point, Hulk gets his tooth knocked out by Tony, and just, it's like, now you made me mad, and, and Tony's like, I'm sorry. And, especially because, Wanda realizes what Ultron's going to do, and because, this Loki scepter that had the Mind Stone, it then went to this, like, android-like body, which would be Vision, and basically Wanda has this vision of Ultron going to destroy Earth, and not just the Avengers. So we get the debut of Vision, played by Paul Bettany. He went from voicing Jarvis to actually, appear, being on screen as, as a character in person, Vision. So you get my point. And it's really funny. Vision is one of the only, like, aside from Thor, he can lift up Thor's hammer. And that was a pretty funny moment. I guess everybody's like, whoa, and, Thor, he's okay with it, I guess. And the epic, like, climax and the battle with Ultron and his, Ultron, army, like, his minions, his army of Ultrons, I guess that's how you call them. And also, forgot to mention, at one point, we do get the debut of Clint's family. Laura Barton, played by Linda Cardellini, if I'm saying her last name right, who probably be best known, of course, for, playing Velma in the live-action Scooby-Doo films. And Clint's two kids, and Laura is pregnant, and I just like how Tony, he says, she's an agent, and they're smaller agents, referring to Clint's family. And also, Stellan Skarsgård, he made an appearance as the professor, who appeared in the Thor films and in the first Avengers film. He helps out with Thor on something, and and again, and Nick Fury is in this too, Samuel L. Jackson, and what's really cool, because later on, Nick Fury comes in, to help them by bringing in the helicarrier. Nick Fury managed to get a hold of the helicarrier that, that was in the first Avengers film, number 64, 63, it was one of those numbers. And I just like it when Rhodey sees Vision for the first time as they're fighting the Ultrons in the sky. He's like, okay, what? And the relationship, and also the relationship between Bruce Banner, Hulk, that is, Hulk, Bruce Banner, and Natasha, because there's a lot of it in this, and, when Natasha's, calming Hulk down, the sun's going down, blah, blah, blah. And even say when Natasha kisses Bruce and needs the big guy, throws him off a cliff, and Hulk emerges, he jumps into the sky, and yeah. And it's really sad because Pedro, Wanda's brother, gets killed by, sacrificing himself to save Clint and this kid who lost his, who got separated from his mother, takes the fire shots from Ultron. Ultron was on, like, this jet, and like, what he says to Clint, and actually were the first lines he had in the beginning of the film that he said to Clint, "You didn't see that coming?" So, and Pedro didn't have that many lines in the film. And Ultron is defeated. He had been defeated multiple times, because he would, have a new body. But this time he was defeated by Vision. And I just like the line that Vision says right before he officially kills Ultron for good. "I was born yesterday." That's so funny. And the aftermath, because the new Avengers headquarters, and that we would see throughout the rest of the Avengers films. Yeah, and a nice happy ending, I should say. Well, and aside for the Hulk, he basically goes off, because, you know what, after what happened to when he was attacking this city, he just had to get away for a while. And thus we would see him again, in Thor Ragnarok, and which I will review very soon, when we get to that. Laura, Clint's wife, had the baby, and Natasha kind of picking on the child, like, traitor, fat, Wanda becoming a new member of the Avengers, same, and Vision as well. Thor going back to Asgard. Tony riding off in his Jeep, orange Jeep, I guess you could say. And I love it because when, members of the Avengers get together, Wanda, Vision, Falcon, and Rhodey, Natasha, and Captain America, Steve Rogers says to them, "Avengers," and then the credits roll. He was about to say "assemble." And I like how during the credits we get this statue, of the Avengers, and one of the last end credit scenes. Well, there was no end credit scene when the credits finished, but this one, before the rest of the credits scroll up, we get the appearance of Thanos, played by Josh Brolin. After Loki failing and after Ultron failing, it all comes down to Thanos, and he gets the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's like, "Fine, I'll do it myself." Yeah, as I stated. Oh, man. Avengers Age of Ultron. I think it was pretty good. I think it's a really good film in the MCU, and for it being for this being an Avengers film. Oh, and did I forget to mention that the word Endgame was, it was said by Tony Stark, and thus that would be the title of, the fourth Avengers film. That's insane. And I do remember this. I wanted to quickly mention this. Do you guys remember, online, and when Avengers Age of Ultron came out, supposedly, there was a leaked end credit scene of Spider-Man making an appearance, but that turned out to be false. Even Josh Whedon said that that's not in the movie, and he didn't know who made it. Yeah, so that was fake. But that would have been cool, if something like that was in the film. And thus, a year after Age of Ultron, Spider-Man would make his debut in the MCU with Civil War, which I will review that very soon. So, with that being said, how do I rate Age of Ultron? Good question. You know what? I'll give it... It's on my mind. 8 out of 10 stars for Age of Ultron. I think it was pretty good, and I think it's a pretty decent film in the line of Avengers films. And what about you guys? Have you seen it before? What did you think of it? What did you think of my review? Leave comments, and give this review a like as always. So again, with that being said, 8 out of 10 stars. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Avengers Age of Ultron. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video/review. Take care, peace out, and Avengers, assemble.